All right, let's get into it. 2026 NFL mock draft 2.0. We did one last week. My knowledge of the draft, the big board, what these teams need, it has grown a little bit. We're not going to do any trades yet. It'll just be strictly picks. But as we get further into this process, we will get some trades. Huge week coming up with the combine. We're finally going to get some numbers next to some of these players. And at number 2, a player that needs numbers desperately is Ruben Bain, because apparently he has short arms. But I rewatched the whole national championship from the sky cam angle. So it's basically from the end zone angle. Ruben Bain is a fucking monster. I don't care. I still want the Jets to take him at 2. However, David Bailey's a guy that's grown on me a lot. And just for the sake of, whatever the opposite word of content, just to change things up a little bit, I took Ruben Bain last week with the Jets. This week we'll go David Bailey. I'd really be fine with all of these guys. After Caleb Love, David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, I think there is a real drop-off at the defensive side of the ball, because all of those players are real game changers at real niche positions. Like, you're going to get edge rushers. Edge rushers is the most valuable position on the defense besides corner. There's not a real elite standout corner yet in this draft. However, after those 4 defensive players, the next best defensive player is probably Sonny Styles, even though I did watch a little bit of Jermod McCoy, and his tape is really good, just a really small sample size. But after those 4, I think there was a steep fall off, not in terms of talent, but in terms of positional value combined with talent, because Sonny Styles is as talented as those guys, but the positional value of an off-ball linebacker is just not the same as an Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Ruben Bain. So I'll go David Bailey here for the Jets. And then at 3, I think a lot of people are penciling in Mayaga, however you say his name. I gotta learn how to say his name. We're gonna be at mock draft 10.0. I'm still not gonna know how to say his name. But the tackle, rewatching that national championship, I was not impressed with Mayagu, however you say his name, whatever, it doesn't matter. The Cardinals do have Budda Baker. The Cardinals do have Will Johnson. Their secondary isn't that bad. They do have Josh Sweat. They could use another edge rusher, maybe a versatile player like Arvell Reese, who can play off ball as well. I think Arvell Reese is a shout here for Arizona, because their linebacker position is still not in the greatest of shape. The Titans at 4. This is a team as well. They need a bunch. They need a bunch. They need edge. They need secondary help. They need offensive line help. They have an early pick in the second round, and I think you're better off waiting to get a different crop of tackles. Like, I was watching some Caden Proctor. I was watching some Ty Simpson. I was very impressed with Caden Proctor. These Caleb Lumu, Monroe Freeling, like all of these guys, you can maybe get one of them at the turn in the late second round when they have with their first pick in the second round. So I think here, if you're the Titans, you have so many holes, you should probably go with BPA. And if you have Mayuwaga, or you have Spencer Fano, or you have Caden Proctor this high in your BPA, then fine, take them. But I think overall, it's just got to be Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain here to Tennessee. And Ruben Bain is a real monster. I'm not buying the whole you need to move this guy inside because of his short arms. I'm not buying that, but also in the secondary, a guy like Caleb Downs can really just transcend a defense. He is probably a better player than Arvell Reese and David Bailey. I just still think a lot of these teams aren't going to be able to get over the positional value. And Ruben Bain is an absolute monster, guys. The dude is a monster. So I'm going Ruben Bain here at 4. And if you're the Giants, and if Caleb Downs falls to you, we took him last week. They got to take Caleb Downs. They got it. They really did. It's a no-brainer for them to take a guy, but the mock draft is not working. It's a no-brainer for the Giants to take a guy like Caleb Downs. I just think the positional value of these edge rushers, like if one of these edge rushers, think about it like this: if Caleb Downs' ceiling is a better Kyle Hamilton, and David Bailey and Arvell Reese's ceiling is Micah Parsons, and Ruben Bain's ceiling is like a Brian Burns, or I guess Brian Burns has the long arm, whatever. Either way, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the ceiling for an edge rusher is higher than the ceiling for a slot corner, and I don't know if these teams are going to be able to get off of that. And I think, honestly, I think David Bailey and Ruben Bain might be better than Arvell Reese personally as a pure edge rusher, but people have fallen in love with the concept of an off-ball linebacker that can rush the passer a little bit. Maybe he's the next Micah Parsons. I think that's why we're seeing these hybrids get drafted up a little bit. But I think David Bailey and Ruben Bain, especially Ruben Bain's a fucking monster, man. He's a monster. I just went with David Bailey to switch things up a little bit. But either way, if those 3 guys are off the board, you go with Caleb Downs. And I think that you go with Caleb Downs no matter what if he's there. If you're the New York Giants, because their offensive line is in a decent spot. They don't need to tackle. They could use an interior offensive line, but you're not going to draft an interior offensive lineman at pick 5. They could go receiver to throw somebody on the other side of Malik Neighbors. I think their running back situation is fine. You're not going to go Sonny Styles. You could, you're not. If Caleb Downs is off the board here, they're in a tough spot. But if he's on the board, I think it's a no-doubter Caleb Downs to the New York Giants. No-brainer. He helps in run support. The Giants stink against the run. Their safeties are average at best. And I think their corners, I'm trying to think who their corners are. Tyler Nubin, Cordell Flott's a free agent. Deontay Banks is all right. Deontay Banks stinks. Paulson Adebo, like they could go corner here, but I just think if Caleb Downs is there, they need help. They need secondary help. They also need a guy that's going to help and run. Caleb Downs can do that. He's a phenomenal tackler. Got to be Caleb Downs at 5 if you're the Giants. All right, Cleveland at number 6 is a really interesting one. They need receivers. They don't necessarily need a running back. I know Jeremiah Love is staring at us in the face. Their defense is really good, but they also need some offensive line help. They're losing Joe Batonio. They're losing their center. I forget his name. Their tackles are old. Their offensive line is fossilizing. They might go best tackle available here, but I really think they need a receiver. This is a tough spot here. JOK is all like Sonny Styles could be on the board here. JOK might never play football again. Really interesting pick here for Cleveland. They could go a whole bunch of directions. They could go Ty Simpson. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they go. I just wasn't impressed with Francis Mauiaga. I got to watch him again on in some other games. I was not impressed with him against Indiana. I don't know. He's not small, but he looks small. He didn't look like he had a lot of power. I just wasn't too impressed. I gotta really dive into the tape. It's not a fair enough sample size for me to judge him. The Browns do need a tackle. I say they go tackle. Just to switch it, like I need to do more homework on Francis. Let's just say that I need to do more homework on Francis. I had them go wide receiver last mock, so we'll switch it up here. The Commanders here. Now, if I'm the Commanders and all of these players are off the board, I'm fucking pissed. I'm really pissed. I think their offense is in a decent spot. Is Bill the running back of the future? Probably not. Respect to Bill. Like, probably not. Maybe, probably not. Terry McLaurin's good. Who's the wide receiver too? Are they bringing back Debo? Probably not. I don't even know who else. Not De'Ami Brown anymore. Luke McCaffrey? Is that where they're doing? So they could go wide receiver. They could go running back. David Blau has never called plays before. He was a backup for Stafford. He was a backup in LA. So he's got that McVay, Ben Johnson type of vibe to him. They need good, like they operate with good running backs. They get good running backs. Jeremiah Love is probably the second or second best player overall in the draft. The Commanders go Jeremiah Love here. Pair him up with Bill, and they got quite the backfield there. Even though they need help defensively, it's just like Sonny Styles here would be. He's gross. So it feels like a little bit of a reach. Just load up on weapons, and then it's a deeper defensive draft as well. They can just get some defensive guys in the back in the later rounds. I'm not sure what the Commanders' picks look like. The Saints here, they got to go receiver. They got to go receiver or Sonny Styles. They are losing Demario Davis. I think you can instantly replace Demario Davis with Sonny Styles, or you could go and get a Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon. I haven't done my receiver homework. That's next week. So I still don't have these guys ranked yet. And Jordan Tyson would be up here too, but he just has the injury concern. I think if I'm the New Orleans Saints, just replace Demario Davis, quick and easy, with Sonny Styles. The Chiefs here are an interesting one. What do they do if Jeremiah Love is off the board? And the Chiefs need help on the defensive side of the ball desperately. They cannot rush the passer, and an edge rusher that I have been higher on, I'm probably higher on than most in this draft. Well, looking at this, I don't think he was this high. Cassius Howell is an absolute weapon. 11.5 sacks last year. He mutilated SEC competition. He was good against Miami. Cassius Howell is a dog. I think he's probably the 4th best edge rusher in the class. That's what PFF has him at anyway. I haven't done my edge rusher homework, but Cassius Howell, veteran pass rush movie, had 3 sacks in a game. He had 2 sacks against LSU. Again, he was against freshmen. He was against freshman offensive tackles. Fair enough. The guy was a senior. But either way, Cassius Howell to Kansas City, throw him with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones. And I understand a lot of people looking at the corners here, and you could be thinking, well, why don't they go corner? Why don't they go maybe receiver, or pairing up a receiver here with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy? I think those are good receivers. I think those are good enough receivers to get you by here. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Pitts makes an appearance, or if Tyreek Hill makes a reunion in Kansas City. And they do need corners, but think about this Chiefs team and the corners they've drafted in the later rounds, or late first, early second, like Trent McDuffie's, L'Jarius Sneeds, Charvarius Wards, Jalen Watson. Like, they've been able to develop corners better than a lot of teams in this league. So I think they wait and they go out and get an elite edge rusher in Cassius Howell, who was just production. And I heard, oh my gosh, what's his name, man? Kurt Cignetti said something that's sticking in my brain a lot this mock draft season: production over potential. And Cassius Howell is the definition of production. So give me Cassius Howell to Kansas City at 9. The Bengals here at 10. They need defense. They need defense desperately. They're losing Cam Taylor-Britt. I think DJ Turner is one of the most underrated corners in the NFL. Shamar Stewart wasn't that good. So they could either go D-line, interior D-line here, or they could go corner with McCoy or Peter Woods. There's two nasty receivers staring us right in the face here. I think it would be foolish for them to neglect the defensive side of the ball. I like Jamal McCoy. I think it's a small sample size, but I'm still a fan of what he's done. He's a little bit undersized. He can get a little bit bigger. I like Jamal McCoy here. He locked up Ryan Williams before he got injured in that game. The Dolphins losing Tyreek Hill. Carnell Tate staring him in the face. Layup. Pair up Carnell Tate with Jalen Waddle offensively, and they do need help. They do need corners, but they just lost Tyreek Hill. Their wide receiver too is James or Parker Washington. Is that even his name? Washington? No, it's not Parker Washington. I'm forgetting his name. Malik Washington is their wide receiver too right now. They need wide receiver help. Carnell Tate's elite ball skills. Great blocker too. Haven't done a lot of good at the catch point. He's a real pro. Now Dallas here at 12, Mansour Delane. Haven't watched a single thing, but a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about him. They need cornerback help desperately. And one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL last year. They lost Trayvon Diggs. Go get your corner of the future. I think that they would be happy if that broke for them that way. Now the Rams. I had them taking Mekhi Lemon last time. Do I do it again? And they are losing Rob Havenstein, but everybody talked about the fifth round pick McClendon, who played a little bit this year for LA as him. He's just going to step in and fill in that role right away. So Fano's off the board. Their defensive line is really, really good. Braden Fisk, Byron Young, Jared Verse. They got great guys on that defensive line. So Caleb Banks and Keldrick Folk here. I'm not too sure about that. They need corner help. So seeing Jamal McCoy and Mansour Delane go off in the two picks before them could be a problem here. I think LA is a team. Once we get into some later drafts, they have capital to be moving up. They have capital to be moving up, or they've also drafted really well. Maybe they want some more draft capital and they move back. They're a team to keep an eye on. The Jets are also a team to keep an eye on. If they want to come up, they have a lot of draft capital as well. But sitting here at 13, if Mekhi Lemon's staring them in the face, who can be all the comps about Mekhi Lemon are Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tough hands over the middle field, good route runner. Mekhi Lemon, we're doing it again. We did it in Mock Draft 1.0. It's just the way things keep falling here. Mekhi Lemon to the Los Angeles Rams. They need corner help, though. So let's see what corners would be on the board here. Like Avion Terrell, Brain. I haven't done enough homework on here. D'Angelo Pons is a guy that's become my favorite player in the draft. One of my favorite players in the draft. He really has. Even though, how tall do they have him here? How tall do they have him? 5'9". Like, that's just... It's going to be tough to get over. But Avion Terrell, Braden Cease, Colton Hood, I gotta learn some of these guys. Will Lee from A&M, 6'3", long, weak guy. Weak. He's getting mossed a little bit, but he's really sticky in coverage. He's a sleeper. Not the greatest sleeper. He can't really tackle either, but in terms of just coverage guy, he can develop. He can get stronger, and he can be a better tackler and better around the football. He's the guy to keep an eye on down here in the later rounds that has a good ceiling just because of his frame, but yeah, I think Mekhi Lemon here or potential trade back in this situation if two corners are off the board for LA could absolutely be in play. The Ravens need receivers, and if Jordan Tyson is on the board here, but they need offensive line play too. They do need some offense, especially if they lose Tyler Linderbaum. But I think Jordan Tyson is just too good for them to pass up here. Get another weapon for your two-time MVP, one-time unanimous MVP, Lamar Jackson. All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they need a lot. It says their biggest need is tight end right here. I'm a Kate Otten guy. Kenyon Sadiq to Tampa Bay would be crazy. I'm not buying that. They need edge. I think they need edge help. We're going to go with Keldrick Falk. Haven't done too much homework on him, but a lot of people, a lot of talking heads in the draft community seem to really, really like him. So Keldrick Falk there to Tampa. They need some edge rush help. A corner for Tampa wouldn't be crazy either here. The Jets on the clock again. I think their offense is fine. We'll see what they do. There's not a receiver here that I want to take if I'm the Jets. Definitely not a running back. I like Mason Taylor. I don't think they need Kenyon Sadiq. Their offensive line is fine. The Jets here need to be looking corner, safety, and this guy, Emmanuel Mikel Warren. I saw a video of Todd McShay talking about this guy like he's getting completely overlooked, but I don't think the Jets go safety here. Edge, D-line. I haven't watched a lot of Peter Woods. He was a projected like top 10 pick at the start of the season. I have watched a lot of Caden McDonald, and let me tell you, very impressed with Mr. McDonald. So we're going to go with Caden McDonald over Peter Woods here. I do not care. The Lions are a team. They need corner help. They could use some edge help, but they need help on the interior of that offensive line. They go with the best interior offensive lineman consensus in this draft. Oliver Vega, Ioane. Minnesota here. Running backs, it says running back here, and I agree, but I think Minnesota can address the running back in free agency. Who's the best center? I haven't done any homework on the offensive line, so I have no idea. But center, defensive back, yeah, they have a really good front seven, man. They really do. They could use an off-ball linebacker, but Blake Cashman's really underrated. They're always going to get good linebacker play as long as Brian Flores is there. It's Jonathan Grenard, Jalen Redmond. I'm not Zach. Is it Jared Allen? Oh, the guy that was on the Commanders for a long time. He's in Minnesota as well. They have good defensive. They have a good front seven. Corner could be in play here. They probably just go best corner available in their book. And Terrell is just a guy I've been seeing everywhere because of his name, because he's related to AJ Terrell. I feel like that could be in play here. I wouldn't go off offense here. I think their offensive line's in a decent spot. Avion Terrell. The Panthers need edge. They need edge desperately. They need edge desperately. I'm a big fan of Akeem Messidor. They could also use another guy on the inside to put next to, oh, I'm forgetting his name. The guy's a dog, dude. Derek Brown. And that would be Peter Woods. Peter Woods to Carolina here. The Cowboys with the Packers pick here. Could they just go corner again? Their edge is in a decent spot, though. It's not in as bad a spot as a lot of people think. Their interior defensive line is good. They could just load up on edge rushers to go with Donovan Ezeraku, So Odigizua. Yeah, I think they go edge here. TJ Parker, Akeem Messidor. I'm a big Messidor guy. And I've just watched more Messidor than Parker. So I think Akeem Messidor here. They need receivers, bro. They need a receiver. I'm a Denzel Boston guy. I'm also a KC Conception guy. And I'm also a huge Omar Cooper. I talked about earlier in the episode, there's a few guys that are creeping into my guy status. Omar Cooper is 100% one of them. I think that dude's a weapon. But over at Denzel Boston, just with his frame, he has great hands. Curious to see what he runs, too. If he runs sub 4.4 or sub 4.5, he's going to skyrocket up draft boards. I went with receiver last time. Why don't the Steelers? I mean, they love the tight ends. They do love their tight ends. I'm so tempted to just go Kenyon Sadiq here because it would just be such an ultimate troll to the Steelers fans that follow me because Arthur Smith just glazes the tight ends. So Kenyon, and honestly, I don't even think like, Sadiq's a fucking dog here, too. Do they need corners? I mean, James Pierre, JPJ had an incredible season. Jalen Ramsey at free safety. Steelers they could go Ty Simpson here, but I think Ty Simpson needs to sit a year if they bring back A-Rod, which is looking like they might. They don't draft, like McCarthy never drafted a receiver in the first round. I'm thinking Kenyon Sadiq here, bro. I'm really thinking Kenyon Sadiq. The interior defensive line, I think they're in a pretty good spot. They went with the kid from Oregon last year. Cam Hayward had an all-pro type of season. Maybe they could get Caleb Banks and just boost up on the interior of their defensive line. Their edge rushers are in a good spot, even though TJ's regressing, like Alex Highsmith, Nate Herbig. They're good players. I don't think they go defense in the first pick, but if they do, they'd go interior defensive line because Cam Hayward's a fossil. But I just love Kenyon Sadiq here to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't get over it. Give me Kenyon Sadiq. The Chargers, they need interior offensive line play desperately. They're probably losing, I don't even remember the kid's name. Oh my gosh. Zion Johnson. But these interior offensive linemen are not high on the board here, man. They're not high. They could go receiver as well. Lad McConkey, not Mike Williams. The first round receiver they took a few years ago, QJ. I don't know about, I think Keenan's a free agent again. The Chargers are a tough team here, man. I have no idea what they need. I guess they could go corner. They need a corner. They need corners. So we'll go with Brandon Cease. Because who's their corner? Benjamin St. Juste. St. Derwin James. Yeah, they need corners. Give me Brandon Cease. The Eagles could use some edge help. The Eagles don't need anything offensively unless it's on the interior, but there's no really good interior offensive lineman at this point. It'd be a reach. They're like second round interior guys. The Eagles secondary, they are losing Reed Blankenship. A safety could be in play here. Pair up the Toledo guys. Could they pair up the Toledo guys to take the best safety on the board that's not named Caleb Downs and Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, pair him up with Quinyon Mitchell? Or do they go, I think they got to go edge. I feel like edge is their weakest part on the defensive side of the ball. Again, this is before free agency, so a lot of team needs could change based on free agency. They go TJ Park. The Cleveland Browns with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Travis Hunter pick back on the clock. Who did I pick first with them? Did I go receiver with them? I don't think I did. I think they go receiver here, Denzel Boston. Get that offense in the right spot here for Shedeur so he can go out there and sling it. All right. The Bears, they need edge too. Edge and D-line. But they have a pretty good, like Gravon Dexter, solid player. They need edge, but I think Caleb Banks is a good player. Oh, but their tackle, oh my gosh, their tackle, what's his name? He's 25 years old. He might never play football again. So this is a tough spot. Hopefully they have a ruling on the tackles, and I forget his name. White guy left tackle. They could go tackle here. They could also go defensive lineman. This is a tough spot here. Linebackers in play too with CJ Allen, off-ball guy. But Tremaine Edmonds is pretty solid. I think they go defensive. Okay. The Bills, what do the Bills need? The Bills need a receiver. The Bills desperately need a receiver. Deion Coleman ain't it. I really like Omar Cooper. They need a guy that can separate. They need a guy that can separate. Omar Cooper's that guy. He's one of the best separators, if not outside of the top 3, might be the best separator in the class. The Niners. What do the Niners need? Their corners are pretty good. They could use some edge depth. They don't need off-ball line, but they need edge depth. That's the answer. They need edge depth and maybe interior defensive line play. Lee Hunter's a dog. Yeah, easy layup. And the whole Texas Tech defensive line was nasty. So Lee Hunter here. To the Niners, who need the Texans need offensive line here. They got to go O-line. I like Caden Proctor a lot. I've liked what I've seen from Caden Proctor a whole lot. They go Caden Proctor. The Rams back on the clock again, just crazy. They're on the clock again. They could probably just go BPA. I think defense is where they need it. What corners are still on the board here? Yeah, Colton Hood out of Tennessee here is the move for the Rams. They need corner help desperately. The Broncos are a tough one, dude. They could go receiver as well here. And if Casey Conception's on the board, they are losing. I think it's Alex Singleton. I get the. I don't know if it's Alex Singleton or the guy that had testicular cancer. I think it's Alex Singleton, but that also might be Anzalone's on the Lions. Singleton, yeah, CJ Allen here to Denver. Put him next to Dre Greenlaw. Oh boy, that's just a problem. The Broncos are a team that I think should make a swing at Alec Pierce. And if Denzel Boston or Omar Cooper falls there, that would be a good shout for them. And Casey Conception there would also make a lot of sense. The Patriots, Casey Conception makes so much sense for them here. The elite separator, elite after the catch. And then the Seahawks, they need offensive line help on the right side. They could go Spencer Fano if he makes it this far. There it is. There's your mock draft 2.0. Obviously, you could tell I'm a little bit less educated once we got past 20, 25, once we got into that range. That number is going to come up the more we get into this draft process, especially with the wide receivers who I'll be diving into next week. So next week for Mock Draft Monday, we will have a locked-in wide receiver board, locked-in top 10 receivers in the class, full receiver thing done next week. So get ready for that. I love you guys, man. Hit that subscribe button. A mock draft every single Monday up until the NFL draft. I love you guys all, man. Hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow's episode will be March Madness stuff. So, follow this podcast, follow the Spotify, follow on TikTok as well. Mock Draft Monday in the books. I'll talk to you guys later.